Welcome everyone, my name is spiidey, and today I'm here with a video talking about the brand new legend Kizaru and Fuji. This legend debuted with the V2 Uta, and this legend has been in a lot of controversy lately, in a lot of debate, because lately as if like a unit just dropped, so. But I've already had some discussions and debates on this Discord about how good this or how bad this unit actually is, and about how it is going to evolve through time, not just the unit but the buffs that they introduce. First of all, this unit's captain ability states that it reduces CD by 1, boosts psi in slasher and shooter by 1.3 HP, 5.25 times attack, and boosts their attack by 5.5 when they have psi in tandem or psi int or tandem slot. Then boosts the chance on landing on tandem and makes psi in tandem have matching slot effects. You cannot be blown away. And it states that if 3 or more slashers are on the crew, you get end of turn damage. If 3 or more shooter carriers are on the crew, you will get a plus 0.2 to the minimum chain value, which can stack. So with double unit it's 0.4, which like it's nothing crazy, and it basically, if you want to have access to both abilities, you ideally want to run a mono slasher shooter team. Because they are both slasher shooters, so that's not an issue. But yeah, unfortunately there's not many slasher and shooter units, like units that are both, so it's like finicky to build for that. You either have to run 3 shooters and 3 slashers, or give up like one of the abilities. It's I don't know why they made it that way, but anyways. Then we have a special on a 13 turn CD, which fine by me, deals some damage to random enemies 10 times, so good for tap timing barriers, and then boosts slasher and shooter characters crit rate by 30%, and boosts damage dealt when landing a crit by 75%, that caps at 100%. So this is the brand new ability. And what this basically means is that, for instance, let's take a look at them. They have crit attack, and at level 5, as you can see here, it states that if character lands a perfect, it's a 10% damage boost on the last strike, so it's a 100% chance of landing that crit, and once it lands, it will deal like 75% more damage. So it means that their crit will deal an 85% damage boost on the last strike. Now that might seem a lot, but it's actually not. And yeah, first of all, the other part of the text that says boosts slash and shooter characters crit rate by 30%, it basically just means that, let's say their max ability was at level 4. Let's pretend that their level 4, which is this one right here, was their level 5. They would not have a 100% chance of hitting that crit, and it would be an 80%, but because they increase it by 30%, that 80% would become 110, which is in theory 100 because it cannot go past 100. So it would land all the time. But yeah, it's not that crazy. An 85% damage boost may seem like a lot, but it's not, and I'll explain why in a bit. And then the rest of the special reduces enemies HP by 10% at the end of the turn for 3 turns, which again, don't see why if they already have it in their captain. Like, because one thing is to have say if you want to run them as sub, you can still have access to that ability, but then why not just, I don't know, it's a bit weird, like it takes away the need to run them as captain, so whatever. And they become Kizaru and Fuji for 3 turns, which is good, and then captain is a slasher or shooter, you get a chain multiplier growth rate, which yeah, I mean, I'm totally okay with that. Good plus 0, it's a bit, a bit weird, and great only plus 0.1. But plus 0.7 on perfect, it's completely fine and pretty good actually. But yeah, and then they also have final tap and barrier pen. I do take the barrier pen because they are shooters, so they should have barrier pen as most shooters do. And then their final tap at level 1 changes their slots including block to tandem and further boosts the chain multiplier by 1. But at level 5 it does the same but by 4, which, yeah, again, it makes sense with their kit, but it's just, I don't know. Because the main problem with this unit, this buff, for instance, because we weren't sure how good this buff actually was, I had my opinion on it, that it was just shit, and it pretty much is, but for now, like, there's potential on it. The unit on itself is pretty bad because, like, it's a decent ability for the future, not for right now. So you either release this ability like 2 years ago where it actually mattered, not right now when we just had a power creep with Luffy and Kaido and all that stuff. Or if you want to release it now as they did, at least make the numbers high, because like right now this is a really bad buff. Like, it surprised me for when I ran my tests. It surprised me because I wasn't expecting it to do as much damage as it did, but it still was not enough to like amaze me. And yeah, it's a decent ability, but not to hold a unit by itself. So you should not have a unit like be built around that buff specifically. It's more like a buff that works as some extra damage on a unit with like utility, for instance. So basically it works like a base attack boost. So you would never see a unit with that has like base attack boost as their main like ability, except for Bond Clay, which was one of the first units with base attack boost. So kind of a similar situation. But the thing is that Bond Clay still had other things going on for him, which was the fact that he could change class and type, which this unit cannot do. So basically this unit's whole thing is just discrete and some chain, which in and of itself is pretty bad. So yeah, and now you're gonna see me try this in practice, not just in theory, and you'll see the damage that they do. I'm gonna run a team for against Arena Sun 1, and I'm gonna run the exact same theme, but in one of the cases I'll use their special final stage. The other case I won't use the special final stage, and the other one I'll use their special final stage, but I'm using a Fuji and Kizaru that is not limit broken, so it does not have crit, just so you can see the difference between using their special, not using their special, and then we'll get the chain, but the crit won't do anything because they don't have crit unlocked. That's basically it. So you'll really be able to see how much crit adds on that. So for now, I forgot to explain something. This buff is not really that crazy, because crit only affects the very last tap of a character. So say a character like them have a 4-turn combo, as you can see down there. Imagine they do like 1000 damage. That 1000 damage would be divided by all hits. So say the very last hit would be a 200, and only those 200 would be affected by their crit. So it's almost like a final tap that it's not actually a final tap because it's worse. So even if it was like a 100% crit boost, it would boost those 200 by 400. so we would still only do like 1200 damage. So as you can see, it's really not that much. Like on a bigger scale it scales up, because the more damage you do, the higher the crit will be, but it's not really that important to like be a priority to anyone right now. Maybe in the future, like if they bump those numbers, if they make it go past this highest possible chance as 100, if they make it go past 100, then yeah, this ability has future. If not, then it's a dead ability that will basically never be really useful. But yeah, now let's jump into the teams. Yeah, in this first team you'll see the whole run, and on the second and third runs you will not see the whole run, just the final stage, so you can compare it. So basically what I did was I chose like my utility units that would not have much damage to it. So we have Travel and Chopper and Usopp to handle the debuffs on stage 4 and stage 5, as well as the defensive effects, and not units, like neither of them actually adds any damage. And then we have the Lafitte, because it was just the best unit for stage 3, as it was basically made for it. But yeah, this is a mono shooter team, so all the units will get access to the chain buff, but only Kizaru and Fuji will have a crit to hit. And I also have Uta, because Uta will give us some damage, will give us enough damage to deal with stage 3, stage 4 and then stage 5. So yeah, all of these I'll have to check for the damage. Basically I wanted to make sure that it's realistic, so it's not just their damage for final stage, for instance, it's their damage on top of Uta's. Yeah, just to show what, like, to show them on a normal content. I know that for instance Charles made his analysis of the unit on Colosseum da Gama. I'm not sure if he already released it, I'm not sure when he will release the video. I think by the time that this is out it will be released already. If it is, go check it out. If it is not, then go check it out later. But yeah, he was one of the people that I was talking to about this unit, and yeah, we came to a basically similar conclusion, that the problem is not the buff, the problem is the unit. The unit is poorly designed, and it's arguably the worst unit of the year so far. But the buff on itself has potential. As I said, we just have to pray and see how Bandai deals with it. And yeah, now for the final stage. Also a quick reminder that Fuji, if you're on Fuji, he only boosts Slasher, Shooter and Sai. If you're on Kizaru, he only boosts Slasher, Shooter and Int. So that's something you also have to have in consideration, because like, if you're running mono type team instead of mono class, it will be a little bit tricky. But yeah, as you saw, we have their damage and Uta's damage. Travel only removes the Rainbow Shield, and now you see the damage that they deal. Apparently Travel has crit, I did not notice that, but anyways. So yeah, as you see, they dealt 29.6 mil on their last tap. We're only talking about their last tap, and we reached a 5.7 times chain. In that scenario, we have them with max crit ability, and we use their special, their swap, and their final tap at level 1. This second scenario will not have I'm not sure which one is this. You saw that if you see the team at the beginning, you'll notice. I think this one it doesn't have a limit break. Yeah, it doesn't have limit break, so we still use it special, but because it doesn't have crit, we'll compare the damage directly. by analyzing the final deck and the fact that they don't crit, so their ability does nothing. And yeah, as you see, 22.3 million, so it's say like 7.2, I think, if I'm not wrong, 7.2 million difference, so it's not that much. In this case was enough to get the kill, but it's not that much, especially when you have into account that the other ones hit for a 5.7 times chain and these ones hit for a 4.7 times chain. So yeah, it will be like around a 5 million extra damage, which, like I said, it's not enough to hold the unit together. And then there's the thing of like this unit could be useful with Gear 5 Luffy, but then you'd need to run Gear 5 Luffy 6 plus as captain like mandatory, because then it will make the buff rainbow, but also it's not like, it's really weird because it's just so, it like makes you run a mono special to the team or else it's shit. So unfortunately for now it's pretty much useless. And yeah, you can see the difference here. And yeah, that's basically it, and I'll see you guys on the next time.